Assalamu alaikum everyone. I will now be sharing a reflection which I've called the March towards Mina. I've just come back from Muzdalfa into a hotel in Azizia, and we're just going to go to the Rami. It's a small pit stop that we've made. So I wanted to just, as we were coming back to our hotel, it was a very, very long journey. There was a lot of rush on the road, and it helped me reflect on what are we talking about when you're marching from Muzdalfa to Mina. It is basically about an army of Muslims all coming to go into battle with the Shayateen, to defeat the Shayateen, and then hopefully sacrifice their Ismail. This is all very symbolic, what we're talking about. But it's interesting to note what emotions and feelings are involved over here. So hopefully, with the knowledge at Arafat of the self and the wisdom of how to use that knowledge in Muzdalfa, we are now ready to march together in unison as an army of Muslims to basically finalize the sacrifice and to do the Rami first, and then we can come out of our ihram by winning the first battle. But when we start from Muzdalfa, it is something that we need to internally reflect. We're all resting in Muzdalfa, we're contemplating, we're gathering our weapons, which are our pebbles, and we're ready. We're ready for the command. The command comes from none other than the sun. Again, Ash-Shams. And the sun rises in the east. It is actually behind us when we're in Muzdalfa. And as we march towards Mina, it rises above us and leads the battle as it goes towards Mina, which is in the west. So, in effect, the sun is also doing Hajj with us. So that's a very interesting observation, I think. And so I wanted to basically relate this kind of experience of being faced with our demons. I wanted to bring to mind the sixth recognition of the seven paths, and it goes as follows: that I co-create my life with Allah, whatever it is. This is where predestination and free will work hand in hand. Because I must evaluate my circumstances, that will I be tempted by the Shayateen as I proceed to Mina? Will I have, what if I don't have enough strength to slay my Ismail? What if I'm not ready yet to let go of my old ways? This is where predestination, free will have to work together, where we co-create our lives so that Allah can then change our destiny, where Allah's kun can become fayakun. But that will only happen when we change something which is within ourselves. Changing something within ourselves is the tawfiq, inshallah, that Allah has given us, that himmat, the hawsla, and the free will, and the love and the muhabbat that Allah inshallah is instilled within us to go into battle and slay our Ismail. As I've mentioned earlier, that before even going for Hajj, we need to really ponder upon what our Ismail is, and more on the Ismail in the next reflection. But for here, it's enough to note that we are all being ready to slay the Shayateen. I must contemplate on my Ismail on my way to Mina as I'm marching, that how has it troubled me over the years? What were the times when it has caused me pain and suffering? I now have enough, inshallah, enough knowledge and wisdom to have the strength now to slay my Ismail. Uh, and with Allah's love that supersedes all love, which is muhabbat, which is something that I'm trying to gain when I'm coming towards Mina, uh, I must go in a state of nothingness, and I must take out the filth that is outside, inside of me. And as I mentioned earlier, we do that by the Sufi breath meditations, where we first do the exhale, which is the La ilaha, that there is no God, and then we breathe in Allah's Noor, which is the Illallah. So by the constant breath meditation, we're taking out the filth, taking out the false gods, taking out the Shayateen, and taking in Allah's Noor and His Muhabbat and His love inside of us. Also, we must address who are the three Shayateen that we are going to go and stone right now. The first one is the oppression that we carry within us. This is like the Pharaoh type of oppression, where we get oppressed by our own selves. We oppress our own selves, and that is something which is a very dangerous thing, which a lot of us in society have gone into this mode of oppressing ourselves without even realizing that we've done the thing, that we've done so. The second shaitan is that of capitalism, which represents the hoarding of money, our love for our wealth, and this immense collection and hoarding of power, wealth, money, which preoccupies us all the time. That's the second shaitan. And the third one is that of hypocrisy, the constant conflict that lies within us, the oscillating between the Noor and the Nar, the Zahir and the Batin, and the huge gap between the two. That's the third shaitan. These are all the three shaitans that we are now ready to face and to kill, which is within us, because these are the things that we are contemplating and thinking about in Arfat and Muzdalfa. That why do we need to do that? Because it is our immense love for the dunya that has stopped us and has not allowed us to sacrifice our Ismail. So we are going there symbolically to stone these shaitan, so we can manifest a reality where we let go of these things by evaluating and by contemplating on these three types of shaitan that are constantly bothering us and creating chaos in our lives. I must also bring a point on the march towards victory, because Allah calls it the march to victory, is to cite the example of the Bani Israels who were with Hazrat Musa, and they said that, and I'm just paraphrasing, that you and your God go and conquer Palestine. We are not coming with you. And it was because of this, and Allah had guaranteed them victory. They said, you just need to enter and Allah will ensure victory. Punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Musa alayhi salam couldn't even enter Palestine, and he was actually buried somewhere outside of Palestine. Compare that kind of example where Allah assures victory to the Muslims who fought in the Battle of Badr. Those 313 men said that, in fact, there's a hadith which has been cited where they have mentioned to the Prophet ﷺ that we will not be like those Bani Israelites who we will die for you, we will go into battle for you. You just have to give us a command. That was the level of their taqwa and the tawakkul and their allegiance to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the kind of feeling that we should go with as we march towards victory, that Allah has guaranteed us a victory. So we should actually go with the hope that we will actually defeat our shayateen, the shayateen of oppression, capitalism and hypocrisy. And until unless we don't do that with certainty of intention, we will not be able to slay our Ismail. So If we take the example of Bani Israelites of what they did, they were basically the oppressed people of the Pharaoh, who then became the oppressors of themselves. It's interesting because if you live your entire life under oppression and someone comes and saves you, you're so used to your old ways, it's very probable that you might go into oppression. And that's exactly what happened with the Bani Israelites. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam saved them from the Pharaoh's oppression, but it had just been not that long when Hazrat Musa went up on the mountain. They on Mount Tur, they built the golden calf and started worshipping it. Despite seeing all the miracles which Hazrat Musa himself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had demonstrated to them. So there's a big lesson to be learned over here, that we need to contemplate on this, that we often go into these states of heedlessness despite seeing the truth, despite all the warnings, despite all the chances that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us. Because this war with the nafs is actually a very, very serious battle. It truly tests our level of iman and tawakkul when we go into battle. And so this is something to also think about as we march towards Mina. The journey is just beginning now. We can be symbolically defeating the Shayateen today and tomorrow and day after tomorrow by coming and revisiting again. But we must understand that the shaitan is very clever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that you can't really defeat the shaitan per se, because he's very powerful. But the only way you can defeat him is by seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the shaitan. And A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instructed us. So when shaitan does come back in different ways, if a person who goes into religion, the shaitan will give advice on the religion, and that might cause haughtiness and pride within an individual. It works in different ways. So I hope that the knowledge and the wisdom that I've gained today, hopefully, and by the contemplation, I would have enough love and muhabbat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instilled within me to keep going into battle, This is a never-ending battle. Just because we defeat the shaitan today and 2 days after doesn't mean that the shaitan has been erased or eradicated from our lives. This is just a symbolic act to show us that what weapons do we need and how do we confront the shaitan in the various further battles that we will face him in times to come. So this was just something on the march to Mina, more to follow afterwards. Thank you, Khuda Hafiz.
तेरी याद है मन का चैन